This podcast is brought to you by The Senior Techie, a source of information for seniors and others about technology. Welcome back to the show. Today, we are tackling a topic that, I'll be honest, feels a little bit like we're stepping onto a movie set. We are talking about the smart home.
It really does sound like something out of a movie, doesn't it? I think for a lot of people, especially if you didn't grow up with a computer in your pocket, the phrase smart home just conjures up images of, the Jetsons.
Right. Robot maids and houses that talk back to you.
Or maybe even something a little scarier, like a house that's, smarter than you are.
Exactly. And there's this fear that you need a degree in computer engineering just to turn on the bathroom light. Or that if the internet goes out, you're suddenly going to be locked out of your own front door.
And those are valid concerns, absolutely. But here is the good news, right off the bat. The Senior Techie says you do not need to transform your entire house overnight. You don't need to rewire the walls. You don't need to buy a robot butler. Although, frankly, I wouldn't mind one for the laundry.
I think we're all waiting on that laundry robot. But seriously, the mission of our discussion today is to, cut through all the noise.
Yeah, there is so much marketing fluff out there.
We want to find the specific benefits for you, our listeners. We're not talking about gadgets just for the sake of having blinking lights. We're talking about solving actual daily problems.
Right. Things like forgetting to turn off the coffee maker and then you realize it when you're 10 miles down the road.
It's a big one.
Or struggling to reach a lamp switch that's tucked way behind a heavy sofa. It's about utility, not showing off.
And in digging through the latest information, the Senior Techie says the best approach is actually to start small. Really small.
Yeah.
So let's unpack this. The first segment here is what they call the golden rule of starting.
This is so critical. I think the biggest mistake people make, and we see this constantly, is buying something complicated first.
How so?
They get excited, or maybe a well-meaning adult child buys them a starter kit for the holidays that has, 5 sensors, a camera, and a smart thermostat.
And then what happens?
Overwhelm. They try to install it all at once, something doesn't connect, they get frustrated, and the whole box ends up in the gadget graveyard.
That bottom drawer in the kitchen.
Exactly, where tech goes to die. And what's worse, they decide, I guess this whole smart home thing isn't for me.
It becomes a very expensive paperweight. So the rule is, start with a problem, not a gadget.
Precisely. Pick one device that solves one specific problem you have right now. Don't look at what's on sale. Look at your day. Ask yourself, is there a lamp that makes me walk across a dark room to turn it on?
Which is a fall risk.
It's a fall risk. That is a problem we can solve.
Or the memory issue. I know I've had that panic about the iron.
Oof, did I leave the iron on? Panic is universal. If that's your stress point, that is your starting point. You buy a device to solve that anxiety.
I love that. It makes it so much more manageable. Now, before we even buy that first device, there's a bit of homework to do regarding what the experts call the ecosystem.
Yes, compatibility. This sounds technical, but it's actually just about sticking with what you already know. You have, 3 big landlords in the smart home space.
Yes.
You have Amazon with Alexa, you have Google with their Assistant, and you have Apple with HomeKit.
And the key advice here from the Senior Techie is, pick a team.
Pick a team and stay on that team's bench. If you already own an Amazon Echo, that speaker you talk to, you want to buy devices that say, works with Alexa, right on the box.
And if you have a Google Nest?
Stick with Google. If you live your life on an iPhone and an iPad, look for Apple HomeKit support.
What happens if I try to mix them? Say, I like the look of a Google doorbell, but I have an Alexa speaker in the kitchen.
You are just inviting a headache. Technically, can you make them work together? Sometimes. But that is advanced territory.
Not for a beginner.
Definitely not. It involves extra apps, bridging accounts. For a beginner, do not mix systems. It's like trying to speak French and German in the same sentence. Just keep it simple.
Okay, so we've got our problem. Let's say it's that hard-to-reach lamp, and we know our ecosystem. We're at the store. What is the first purchase? The Senior Techie has a very specific recommendation here, and it's not a light bulb.
No, it is not. The recommendation is the smart plug.
The smart plug. It sounds almost too basic. Why is that the winner for beginners?
A few reasons. First, the price. They are cheap, usually around $29, often less on sale. Second, the installation is physical, not electrical. You aren't unscrewing anything or touching wires.
Right.
You just plug the smart plug into the wall outlet, and then you plug your regular dumb lamp into the smart plug.
So it's basically an adapter.
It's a gatekeeper for the power. Suddenly, that lamp you had since 1990 is a smart lamp.
And the senior techie specifically mentions the TP-Link Casa Smart Plug Mini. Why that one?
It's just known for being very, very reliable. It plays nice with both Alexa and Google. The app is pretty easy to use. It's sort of the Honda Civic of smart plugs. It just works.
But we should manage expectations. What can a smart plug actually do? Can I dim the lights with it?
No, that is the trade-off. A smart plug is binary. It controls power on and power off. That's it.
No dimming, no color changes.
None of that. It's just an on-off switch that you can control with your voice or your phone. But for a coffee maker or a fan or a space heater, that is all you need.
You mentioned space heaters. That's a huge one for safety.
It is. Imagine being able to leave the house, get that nagging feeling, check your phone, see the heater is still on, and turn it off from the grocery store parking lot. That peace of mind pays for the device 10 times over.
Absolutely. Now let's compare that to the other thing people always grab. Smart bulbs, like the Philips Hue.
Smart bulbs are wonderful, don't get me wrong. The pros are obvious. You can dim them, you can change the colors, set mood lighting. They are fun. But they introduce complexity. First, the cost. They're more expensive, $30 to $50 each. And many of them, like Philips Hue, require a separate hub.
A hub. So that's another piece of gear I have to buy.
It is. It's another little box you have to plug into your router. It uses a signal called Zigbee, so it doesn't clog up your Wi-Fi, which is good, but it's another thing to set up.
But there's a bigger issue, isn't there? The senior techie points out this physical switch trap that drives people crazy.
Oh, this is the #1 reason people give up on smart lighting. So here's the scenario. You install your fancy new smart bulb. It works great with your voice. But then you walk into the room and out of 50 years of habit, you flip the wall switch down to off.
And you've just killed it.
You've cut the electricity. A smart bulb is a tiny computer. It needs power to listen for your command. If the wall switch is off, the bulb is dead.
So you can yell at it all you want, but nothing's going to happen.
Exactly. The circuit is broken. So you effectively have to train yourself and your guests and your spouse to stop using the wall switch and only use your voice or the app.
That sounds like a really hard habit to break.
It is. And it causes so much confusion. Why won't the light turn on? Well, because someone flipped the switch. That's why a smart plug is so much easier to start with.
That's a crucial distinction. Okay, looking ahead a bit, there's a new term hitting stores now, early 2026. You might see a logo with 3 connected shapes on the box. It's called Matter.
Yes, Matter. If you remember one technical term from today, make it this one. It solves that whole ecosystem problem we talked about earlier.
How does it do that?
Think of Matter as a universal translator for your smart home gadgets. Remember how I said don't mix Apple and Amazon?
Right.
Well, Matter changes the rules. A Matter-certified device is like a diplomat. It can work with Alexa, Google, and Apple, all at the same time. It doesn't care who is boss.
That sounds like a huge improvement for future-proofing.
It is, but Senior Techie points out a reliability benefit that I think is even more important, especially for seniors. Matter devices connect locally over your home network.
What does that mean for me? Why do I care if it's local?
Okay, so usually when you tell a smart device to turn on, the signal goes from your house up to the internet cloud, some server in another state, and then bounces all the way back to your house to turn on the light.
That seems like a really long trip for a light switch.
It is. And if your internet service goes out, your smart home stops working. But Matter devices are different. They talk directly to each other inside your house. If the internet goes down, your Matter devices keep working.
That is huge. So if you're buying something new right now, look for that Matter logo.
Exactly. It's a good bet for the long term.
Okay, let's talk about the invisible backbone of all of this, the Wi-Fi.
Yes. We can buy the best gadgets, but your home's Wi-Fi matters more than you think. You can't have a smart home if you have a weak signal.
And most of these devices need a pretty decent signal right where they're placed, right?
Correct. And this is where people get tripped up. They buy a smart plug for the back bedroom, plug it in, and it won't connect. Why? Because the Wi-Fi router is at the other end of the house.
So if your phone barely gets Wi-Fi in that room, the plug probably won't either.
Exactly. Fix the Wi-Fi first, or start your smart home journey closer to the router.
And speaking of routers, I feel like everyone hides them.
Oh, everyone hides them. They're ugly, blinking boxes. They get put inside metal filing cabinets, behind microwaves, shoved in the bottom of a bookshelf.
Which is bad.
It's terrible. Metal and electronics block the signal. You want your router out in the open, central in the house. And honestly, the Senior Techie makes a good point. If your router is from 2015 or earlier, it might be time for an upgrade.
Why is that if it still loads a web page isn't it fine?
Not really. Those older writers weren't designed to handle 20 different gadgets all asking for attention. It's like trying to sip a thick milkshake through a tiny coffee stirrer. It just gets overwhelmed.
Great analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say we have the plug, we have good Wi-Fi. Let's walk through the actual setup. The senior techie says it usually follows a pattern.
It's a standard dance. Once you learn the steps, you can set up almost anything. Step 1, plug in the device. Step 2, download the manufacturer's app. If it's a TP-Link plug, you get the Kaisa app.
And you have to create an account.
Right, with your email and a password. Then comes pairing mode. Usually you hold down a button on the side of the plug for 5 seconds until a light starts blinking. That tells the device, I'm ready to talk.
And the app finds it, asks for your Wi-Fi password.
Mm-hmm.
And here is a pro tip from the source material that I absolutely love. Give the device a memorable name.
Oh, please do this. The default name will be something like Device 2847. You do not want to stand in your living room saying, Alexa, turn on Device 2847.
So what should you name it?
Name it exactly what it is. Living room lamp, coffee maker, bedside fan. Make it natural so you can speak to it like a normal person.
Perfect. Now, even with the best setup, things go sideways. The most common issue people see is that dreaded offline message.
It happens to all of us. You open the app and the device is grayed out. It says offline.
So how do we fix it? The senior techie has a list, and the first one is my favorite because it's the fix for everything.
Turn it off and on again. Seriously. Unplug the smart device. Count to 30. Plug it back in. Restart your phone. Unplug your router for 30 seconds. It sounds too simple, but it fixes the problem 90% of the time.
Why does that even work?
Electronics get digital cobwebs. Their memory gets full or stuck in a loop. Cutting the power clears the brain and lets them start fresh.
And if that doesn't work?
Check the distance. Maybe the lamp is now 3 feet too far from the router. Also, check for updates in the app. They release firmware updates all the time to fix connection bugs.
And here's a big one. Did you change your Wi-Fi password?
Oh, that's a classic. If you got a new router or changed your password, your smart plug doesn't know that. It's still knocking on the old door with the old key. You have to reset the device and set it up fresh with the new password.
That's a bit of a pain.
It is. Try not to change your Wi-Fi password unless you really have to.
We've covered a lot, and I can hear some listeners thinking, this still sounds like I might get stuck. The good news is you are not alone. There is help.
There is. First, self-help. Most boxes have a QR code now. Scan that with your phone, and it usually takes you to a video tutorial. Watching someone do it is often way easier than reading a tiny manual.
And family can help, even from far away.
This is a great feature. Many apps allow account sharing. Your daughter in another state can log in, see your device status, and see, oh, Mom, your plug needs an update, and she can fix it right from her phone.
It's like remote tech support. And speaking of support, if you really want professional help, the Senior Techie has a specific partner mention.
Yes, TechMaid. That is spelled Techmaid. They offer low-cost online tech support.
And for in-person help.
Huh?
Sometimes you just need someone to come over.
You have the classics like Best Buy's Geek Squad or independent installers. They can be pricey, $100 to $300.
When do you make that call?
Use the 1-hour rule. If you've been trying to set something up for an hour and you are just getting frustrated, stop. Your blood pressure is not worth a smart plug. Call a pro.
That is great advice. So as we wrap up, let's look at the big picture. Why is this worth the effort for a senior?
It really comes down to independence and accessibility. This is all about aging in place more comfortably and safely.
Can you give us some concrete examples?
Sure. Think about vision challenges. If it's hard to read a tiny dial, being able to say, turn on the lights at 6 p.m. is a game changer. Or mobility, if getting up from an armchair is painful, being able to control your environment without standing is huge.
It's a safety issue, too.
Absolutely. Voice-controlled speakers let you turn on lights so you don't trip in the dark. You can set medication reminders. You can even make phone calls just by asking, which is vital if you fall and can't reach a phone.
So it's about safety and staying in control. It's not about being techie for the sake of it.
Exactly. It's about making your home work for you, rather than you having to work for your home.
I think that is the perfect place to leave it. Remember, the technology isn't going anywhere. You can take your time, start with one thing, get comfortable, and add more when you're ready.
Absolutely. Start small, solve a problem, and just see how it improves your day.
This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to keep up with their newsletters, you can subscribe for free by going to theseniortechie.com. Thanks for listening.